A very good Sunday afternoon, my people. I hope you're all doing well and enjoy this kind of windy, it was sunny before, now windy Sunday. We will start with our breathing exercise. Your legs shoulder-wise, bend naturally a little bit. Slowly raise your arms. Natural hand posture, as if you are hugging a tree. Just gently close your eyes. Always breathe in with your nose, out from your mouth. We'll go as deep breathe in as possible and as long out as possible. We'll do 10 times. Now we will start our 10 energy movements. Legs shoulder wise. We'll do 5 times each movement. Hold the energy from your dantian. Strengthen your legs. Try to touch the sky. Create a positive energy field for yourself. We are relaxing the whole fascia system, therefore activating the whole lymphatic system. Keep your breath even. The fascia system, in traditional Chinese medicine, we call that, yes, triple burner, right? Sanjiu. We'll have a topic to talk about Sanjiu in the future. Now, second movement. Remember the hand posture. We are strengthening the lungs and colon. Also open up the 6th arm meridian lines. And gradually we will teach you meridian lines one by one. The next movement, the whole gut system. One touch the sky, the other the earth. Interchange in time zone, which we talked about time zone here. If you have stomach flares, pain, intestinal inflammation, stagnation, do this movement. Surrender. Balancing 5 elements, 7 emotions, which we will talk about. We will talk the emotions with the topics which each organ systems. And also if you have neck tightness, upper shoulder tightness, this will help. Now the next one. Slowly. And you are getting rid of the heart collapsing and the heart fire. And since the heart and small intestines are a partner in partnership, by doing this movement, you also are helping your small and large intestines. next one, your kidneys and your spine. And also get the tendons strengthened out and stretched out. And many of you can do much better now than before. Congratulations. Keep at it. Oh, and this one also helps to balance your tailbone. And help with the prostate health. And also uterus health. Now, liver health. Now, your kidney health, bladder health, prostate health, uterus health, ovarian health. Very good, Afu. Excellent. Now, we're going to strengthen our 6 leg meridian lines. And also strengthen our tendon, our flexibility. You want to do it with me, Uncle? last one, our favorite one. Let's see how far we can go together now. Let me push Afu just a little bit further. Okay. You feel your toes, it's like spring flowers, blossom, and you just slowly, with control, get your body down. Very excellent. So today's topic, we're going to talk a little bit about stomach and spleen. You see, in traditional Chinese medicine, when we talk about, we say 脾胃为后天之本, that means that the gut system is the second most important thing of your system. So 脾胃, that if you translate that literally, will be stomach and spleen. So a lot of Western doctors are confused of saying, well, the whole gut system, and what is the relationship between the gut system and stomach and spleen? The gut system is what we call 脾胃. So that we just call that, and I think if people do not understand how to translate, there is the confusion, right? Because the whole gut system is the minute you, including your teeth, right? And you put your tongue, you put something in your mouth, start chewing, and then get into that big tube, going through that big tube, get fermented, digested, and get sorted, get dried, get pooped out. So the moment you eat, the moment you come out this way, that is the whole, the movements, the organization, the whole system is called gut system. So, but today we only, and then in traditional Chinese medicine, we already covered a part of the gut system, right? Because they're being paired away, right? And the heart and small intestines are paired together, and the liver and gallbladder are paired together, and the lungs and big intestines are paired, and colon are paired together, and stomach and spleen are being paired together. So today we will focus on this part of the gut. And then the next topic, we will touch the whole gut more. So now we will only focus on the spleen and the stomach. The spleen is one of the 5 yin organ systems. So spleen is such an interesting organ system because this is really one of the very fundamental and yet behind the scene and yet you must have it well system. So why do I say that? Because in traditional Chinese medicine, your spleen system, that we have spleen yin and spleen yang, that 2 parts combined together. Spleen yin, that's the actual spleen system. Spleen yang, that is your pancreas. So that combined together is a spleen system. And the stomach in traditional Chinese medicine is also very important, and because that serves more than just a holding pen, more than just a kind of grinder, and more than just a shredder and grinder, right? But it does have that function. That's why when you eat, you should be eating in silence. If when you eat in silence, you are not, you are more focused, you give more energy to your stomach system, and that your stomach system can begin to sort the 5 elements, the 5 flavors, the 5 basic things, so that later on the small intestines will have less work to transfer different, to really sort different. It's just like when you do recycle, right? You put different into different categories. So the stomach, that, you know, with the acids, with everything, will begin to put that into different categories already. So then you are giving a more of easy job to your small intestines. So again, what does, you know, why we say the spleen system is very important? What is it that if we, what is the role? The spleen system really is that eventually that carry the energy, the best energy from the food, transform that into blood to slowly nourish the whole body. And the spleen system, it also is known, as we call that, know-it-all, that can check the heart health, check the lung health, and also gently give, it's like a counselor. It also is gently give counsel to your different, you know, the liver system and the heart system and then the lung system. So we have a example. We say, well, think about the spleen system. Let's say the heart system want to build a palace. And so what would the spleen say, right? So they use this as an example. It says, well, that there was this ancient king that he doesn't really, you know, he wants to build a big palace. He wants to stress everybody out of the system. He wants to stress everybody to build a palace. So when he asks people, that people just say, sure, king, will do whatever you want. So that's the heart system. So the spleen comes in, so this advisor, not so much advisor, this counselor. So there was this is based on true story. So this counselor came to see the king and says, king, you know, the king says, king really likes him. So king said, hey, how are you doing, buddy? So he says, this minister says, you know, I have a very interesting encounter I would like to share with the king. If king, you know, want to land in your ear, and the king says, go for it. So he says, well, I always kind of think I am a pretty good looking guy, right? But in my town, that everybody says, Xu Gong, Mr. Xu is really a handsome fellow. So, so I went home and I asked my wife, I said, wife, do you think who is more good looking, me or this Mr. Xu fellow? So his wife says, of course it's you. So he said, then I asked my servant, and the servant said, of course it's you. You are so handsome. It's not in comparison. So, and then he said, well, I happen to have someone who, was at my house and wants something from me. So I said to this, I asked this person, I said, well, Mr. Xu, what do you think? Who's better looking? And he looked at me, he said, oh, you, Minister, you. And he said, but I happened to met Mr. Xu the way home. It's in no comparison. He is much better looking. So the king says, huh? So why would he say that? So he said, well, my wife said that because she loves me. My servant said that because he fears me. My friend said that because he wants something from me. So the king said, huh. Well, the other day I did ask people, the ministers, about building up a new palace. So they all said yes. Why? And then this counselor said, why indeed? So if you do that, you're going to stress the whole nation because they have to, give you more. You have to, is that something is wise? So the king said, no, now I understand that when people said yes to me, I shouldn't just take it in the face value. So that is what spleen is doing. Spleen system will use such a strategy to tell your body what to do in such kind, gentle way. So the king of the system, your heart will not just to suddenly take and cause a lot of times death. And your lungs and your liver will know how to work together and how to give. So who put this whole piece together, and more so compared to other organ systems, when there is not in such a balance? That is your spleen. That is your spleen system. So that's why we really have to pay attention to our diet. We really have to make sure our spleen system is well taken care of. In our clinic, we often heard me say, we all have dampness in our spleen system. So what does that mean? That means we are overworking our spleen system. Spleen system is like a wife of the family, right? You may not know they're always working. You may not know they're always watching everything. At least that's what my wife does to, in our household. And so that job may not be seen like, oh my God, this is the most important, but it is so. Because if you stress your spleen system, and then if you begin to have dampness in your spleen system, then the whole system will begin to become damp, and then you are not able to, then that will stress the spleen yang. The pancreas will not able to release enough enzyme, and then people will end up having either, excessive thinking, overthinking, or sleep disturbance, mood swing, memory loss, weight gain or weight loss, and eventually we'll have acute illness like diabetes, obesity, and also that will stress your stomach. When people have stomach deficiencies, that they often have not just pain or discomfort and bloating, which we see a lot in our clinic, but their mental stability will begin to crumble. So that's what our stomach and spleen. If you have the list of symptoms, then you know, oh, I better pay attention to my spleen system. So in our YouTube channel, we have a very good exercise of spleen health exercise. And I want you to pay attention to that and start doing that. And also that, having a good diet, and that is also very important. But today I want to show you another little trick that you will strengthen your spleen system. So you see now, get up your hand. So the third finger, the middle, what do you call it, sir? This tendon here, right here. And then you just kind of massage this one like this. Can you see me? How am I doing this? You see, I put my fingers like here. I'm trying to get to right here, right? There we go, excellent. You see how I'm massaging it? I'm massaging 30 times on this finger, has to be the middle one. Here, I know when people do this, that's not good. So, but this way, okay. Let's don't do it this way, that's funny. So, and then the other one. When you feel you have spleen deficiency, any of the things I listed above, and then this is part 1, and part 2 is this finger, is here, right here. Right here, right? And then the third one, when you make a fist and this finger, that will touch here, this spot right here, right? You're massaging it. So each of these points 30 times. One, 2, 3. So that will help with the spleen health. Will squeeze the dampness out of your spleen system, because dampness really is that when your pancreas is no longer able to produce enough enzyme, then you're unable to get the toxins out of your system, out of your fluid, and out of your body fluid. You then begin to create phlegm, right? That is a topic I want to touch in the later talk, because the phlegm, it's a condition that I don't know Western medicine, phlegm, healthy body fluid, and these things I don't think people are talked enough here. So, and then the other thing is, now we know, we all of us almost, right? We have this pairs of walnuts now, right? We have more in our clinic, and these are healing walnuts. Have this, just if you don't remember which points that I want you to do, you just need to put this walnuts in your hands. You just massage like this. You will be, because of the shapes and the pointers of the walnuts, that should cover all those points I want you to do. Okay, so have that memory. That's a part of the spleen deficiency, by the way. So if you don't remember which point I want you to do, and do it with the walnuts. Okay, so I will leave some time for the questions.
Thank you, Dr. Liu. You touched briefly on what a damp spleen is. Could you talk a little bit about what dry spleen symptoms look like?
Dry spleen is a form of damp spleen, right? When the spleen becomes damp, then you have heat, then you made the spleen too dry. So the damp spleen, and then from damp spleen, you have two branches. You have the dry spleen, you have the dampness with heat. So the dry spleen is more that when people really have overworked their spleen system, they cannot really control the excessive thoughts, and that is the same as damp spleen, but somehow created the stomach, created instead of the dampness and created too much heat. So when that happens, that heat up the spleen system too much, then instead of having weight gain, people will have weight loss, but the rest of the symptoms are the same. So you will continue to have excessive thinking patterns, and it will influence the quality of your sleep, but instead of seeing yourself gaining upon the day, you will see yourself lose upon the day. I don't know which one is more scary. I think both are very much a concern. So, but the treatment that it's very similar. Just we balance the whole system, and then when we get to the spleen, we either dry it or we make it with damp spleen. We need to take the dampness out. With the dry spleen, we need to moisten instead of spleen the stomach.
Dr. Liu, is it fair to say that this could be like setting the stage for something like pancreatic cancer? These types of imbalances at the very early stages?
The dampness is a serious problem. That if dampness leaves too long untreated, that will cause more likely to cause diabetes. Yes, in some cases that if the pancreas is very stressed, then that will create pancreatic deficiency. Cancer is such an unknown topic. We really cannot just pinpoint of say, oh, if you have this, that lead to that. If we could say that, then we would have more efficient treatment for it. So I think the cancer chapter, which we will spend some time to share with people what I think that is the formation of that. I don't think it's only one thing. I think that from dampness, you are likely to create a spleen deficiency and pancreatic deficiencies. From the deficiencies, then with stagnation, with blood deficiency, with flame, with the flame into it, then from there, who knows what you will get.
Thank you, Dr. Liu. You talked a bit about our diet and what to eat, and then you touched really briefly on how to eat in terms of eating quietly, focusing. Could you talk a little bit more about that? Because so many people socialize while we eat and, watching TV, working. Could you give us some very practical tips?
Bad ideas. So when you eat, you really should be just focused, look at your food, okay? Don't even look at each other. right? You have time to look at each other and look at your food and focus on your plate and then eat it slowly. In monastery, we say, eat your water, drink your food. So some people says, well, it must be, why would monks say that? That doesn't make sense. But if you chew your food so many times that becomes liquid already, then you do in a way drink your food, right? And then when you drink your water, don't gobble in. You're not agui, that slobber. You really should drink it as you just use your teeth. Let it swirl in your mouth a little bit, keep the temperature just right, and then slowly drink it. Then you are, in a way, eating your water. So in a way, drink your food, eat your water. That should be the ideal way of eating. And I have a very bad habit, right? I look at my food, I eat like a dog. It's too fast, right? You gotta really chew and drink your food. That is something that I have to constantly remind myself and try to do. So I will encourage you to do the same and get your phone away from your dining room, away from your desk. When you eat and turn off that TV and tell your kids to shut it. That's when you eat.
That's excellent. Dr. Liu, last week you talked a bit about spring energy change. And I think we touched upon last week how this might contribute a bit to experiencing digestive discomfort. Could we also link some of what we're talking about today to seasonal shifts?
Yes. So you see, last winter was winter that it was just not an easy winter. We still do have a pandemic out there, so people are really stressed. When they are stressed, their kidney system, so their kidney gene is not nourished properly. So then that liver system got stagnant, and that have controlled the stomach and spleen. So early spring, a lot of people have experienced stomach fullness or abdomen fullness, a lot of diarrhea, loose stool, or burping, either weight gain or weight loss, a lot of mental instability. So all these things are, we're slowly entering April. So use April as a time to rest a little bit. So we say that in spring, make sure when we walk mindfully, we walk slowly, and do not discipline much of your kids. Let them go a little loose, because spring is such a time of nourishment. Spring is such a time of growth, and liver has such a way of need to not be suppressed. So that in a way will nourish your stomach and spleen. We say in the spring, if you save a flower, in the fall you have a fruit from that saved flower. In the spring, if you have one good deed planned in the fall, then you will harvest that good karma.
That's really beautiful. Dr. Liu, if I may squeeze in one last question, which is about water. We haven't really talked much about the importance of water. Many people are underhydrated. Could you talk a little bit about the importance of water in digestive health?
So drink water in general, it is that important. Spleen is stomach is such a system like the warmth, doesn't like the cold. So whoever wants to touch that cold water should think twice. You should drink warm water, and you can put a little bit of spring is a good time to have some ginger tea, and with our walnuts broth, and that make a perfect drink. But just drinking 60 ounces to 70 ounces water every day, don't gobble it in, eat your water, and that, carry a warm water bottle with you. So that is just that important. And drinking water, drinking slowly, drink throughout the day, stop before 7 if you can, so you don't have to get up and pee that so many times. These are very, very important.
Thank you so much, Dr. Liu. So many questions, so little time. Thank you so much.
So next week we're going to take a break. We're going to honor Easter Sunday, and my grandmother, my dear grandmother, she I believe she's incarnated now. She was a Christian pastor, so I understand that Easter is the most important day in the Christian tradition. We will honor that together. But what that, a little spleen talk from me, is that we have seven different emotions, right? We have happiness, sadness, we have anger, we have all kinds of things. But why doesn't really include love? Because if we keep balancing our organ systems, we keep balancing all these things, that love, compassion, wisdom, courage, these are the fruits from those emotions. So I will leave you with love.
Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Thank you, Dr. Liu and Sarah, and happy Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter.
Thank you, Dr. Liu and Sarah.
Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Liu and Sarah.
Thank you, Dr. Liu. Love to you too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Thank you, Dr. Liu. We're very grateful for you and Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Love
Dr.
you.
Liu. Thank you, Sarah.
you.
Thank you, Dr. Liu and Sarah. Happy Easter.
Sarah.
Thank you both.